blessed with a championship prosperity the likes of which we have never seen, cursed by a past riddled with despair. This is Blursed.
All right, welcome back to Blursed, everybody. That was a beatbox. Beatbox? Yeah.
Beat.
Beatbop. That's a beatbox version of
It's
the intro to
Tuesday,
Blursed.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's Tuesday. No,
It is
it's
Tuesday.
Tuesday for us. It's Schwednesday for the Schwissners.
Welcome.
Yeah.
The room
Welcome
you're
to the
in has
past.
such unique lighting, Aaron. Like you're
Yeah.
glowing it yourself.
It's actually this fucking cloud. That's normally when we record, I have great sunlight. There's a window right there, and it has great sunlight coming in on me. But there's a bunch of blue sky, but right where the sun is a fucking cloud.
But when you look up, it's like shining on you. You're glowing.
It looks like you're speaking to God when you look that way. Like
Yes.
the light is shining down on you.
Oh yeah, it's excellent.
Aaron,
Oh,
my
goodness.
son, we request you.
Oh, that's gonna be my
pearly
thumbnail
gates.
pic there.
No, I like that. Yes, that's a good one. That's a
That is
good one.
Yes.
Hey, for those who didn't know, that's how we do it. That's how the money's made right there.
Yeah,
Fucks with it.
that is right.
That's the action shot, if you will.
Money shot, some say.
Oh,
I
would say that.
I didn't want to say that, but now
Wow.
we said it, so it's out there now.
So
It's
why
out
don't you guys introduce yourselves to all the
So
people
what's
that
up,
haven't
guys?
listened before?
I'm Blake. Welcome to Blurs.
Dylan just turned off the show.
Yeah, Dylan's gone.
Fuck.
Dylan's gone.
We're
1
down
minute
one. We've lost 25% of our listenership already.
in.
Hey,
Yes.
my mom's still out there. Shout out to you.
Yeah,
Actually, she
well.
didn't even listen to our podcast. She don't like sports.
Wow.
She told me too. She's like, I really want to support your podcast, but I just don't like.
But
sports.
I hate it.
Yeah, but I
I
hate
get it.
everything
You
you
do a terrible
talk
job,
about,
man.
and
I
I hate
get
the
it.
fact you're on there.
Yeah, I like the other two guys.
Yeah.
Those guys, I really like.
They're
them.
funny. They're good
Yeah.
looking.
I used to listen too, but then
Yeah.
I was like, I already had that conversation, so
Yeah,
I
it
don't need to
sounds like
relive
something
it.
I've already
I'm gonna ask
talked
y'all that.
about.
I used to listen to back every single one of them, and I'd like try to get feedback and stuff. And then after a while, I was like, man, like I know what we do is good enough where I don't need to listen to it, right?
Yeah, well, I go back and listen to segments. Like if someone's like, "Hey, you guys were talking about this in the whatever,"
true.
and I'm like, I actually don't remember that. Let me go listen to it. Real
Talk about a lot of stuff. You gotta
Yeah,
go back
we
and
talk about a
look.
lot of stuff. And I'm Kaz. So we're here.
Yeah, what's
Aaron,
up?
I think normally is how Hayden describes me.
Aaron is what I call you.
Aaron.
Oren.
Yeah, and I'm
Not
Hayden.
to be mistaken with Oren.
I'm here as well. Everybody's here.
Yeah, we're all here.
Episode
I-
51. Did you guys realize that last week was episode 50 and Aaron
I
missed it?
saw that.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
We're coming up like right on a year. I think our first episode was in July, right?
Or June.
Somewhere. Yeah, it was last summer.
No, it was
I remember
June, I
it.
think. Yeah.
I remember it when you did it. You were like, "All right, guys, let's just record it." And Aaron were like, "What?" And you're like, "Yeah,
What?
let's just."
And you're
let's
like,
just
"Yeah, let's
record
just
it.
do
Let's
that."
just
Wow,
do it."
that's the unreleased episode 0, which honestly was probably some of our best work. It
For
was
sure.
bullshit.
Let's hit it in
but
the archives, but it's
All
great. work.
downhill. after
honestly,
that.
I have a copy of it. I think still.
Hell yeah.
So
Yeah, so maybe once we get big, we'll release it as like a limited
Oh,
time.
yeah, for
so-
Patreon members.
Yeah,
only,
right,
of
for our
course,
OnlyFans only,
obviously.
actually, yeah.
our
I think if I
OnlyFans.
listened to that audio quality now, besides Blake, because he's had a good mic the whole time,
Yes.
I would vomit probably just because it really irritates me. I'm very
Yeah.
auditorially sensitive.
There you go.
Yeah. Anytime I play video games and there's like it's a team-based thing, I'm talking to my teammates like, yo, and they're like, man, you sound great. And it's because of the mic quality. And it's like, yeah, it's because I'm not speaking through a $10 mic, man.
Oh, hey. They only
Wow.
got $10 from their mom. They decided to use it to buy VC points or whatever.
Yeah, mommy's
Yeah.
credit card only give me enough Roblox points, man. I can't.
Roblox
I don't know. Speaking of
points.
video games, I'm glad we mentioned this. Speaking of Roblox too, specifically, I'm glad I brought this up. Roblox now has like, I don't know if you've ever been on Roblox. Thousands of games you can choose from. They're all free to play. The way they make their money is microtransactions. So same way EA Sports make their.
I actually
money.
had you were telling me the most I've ever known about Roblox.
I know
Well,
nothing.
what I'm trying to
Yeah.
tell y'all is, you remember how Call of Duty used to be cool? Like everyone played Call of Duty, and like Modern Warfare 2 specifically, Modern Warfare, World at War. Like these are all games we grew up playing. I know you always joke that
They're
I'm much
games
younger
that
than you,
Blake grew
but
up playing. Aaron and I
Yeah.
grew up playing Modern Warfare 2, but that's
Boom.
I said
after
Modern
that.
Warfare 2.
Yeah, but after that, he and I were adults, and you
The other
weren't.
two games I
Yeah.
mentioned
He's
came out
like,
before those.
You guys remember the
games.
classics like Black Ops 3 and Advanced Warfare?
This was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
No, so when Call of Duty was cool and we played it, that's what Roblox has like its own version of Call of Duty now. And it reminds me so much of like old school Modern Warfare 2. Anyways, there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people playing this game. And
Are they not block people?
No, this one, they have one that is block people, but this one's actual people running around. And
Raindrop.
I played
Roblox.
it. It plays super well. It's a lot of fun to play.
I think
so
is there a Roblox GTA?
there's like a Roblox everything.
Okay,
There's
because
literally
I
a
thought it
Roblox
was like something somebody made and they were just joking around. But no,
Nope.
you're telling me I saw a TikTok of gameplay from Roblox. It was like block Lego people, but they were
Yep, that's it.
shooting and robbing and
Yep.
yeah.
This
Ooh.
one's called Riot
Wow.
Fall. If you're interested, if you like old school Call of Duty, it's called Riot Fall on Roblox. Free to play. Your computer just needs to be able to run it, which I think most computers can run Roblox games. They're like super.
That's
Well,
interesting.
just as an
anything.
FYI, there already is like a Lego Grand Theft Auto from like 25 years ago, probably.
Really?
Well, not actually, but in my child eyes, it was. You could like create vehicles, Lego vehicles, and drive them around this island. But then
Was
you're-
this on N64?
What game was
no,
that?
this was like on a CPU. It was like a computer disc, a CD. You used to throw it in your desktop, and then you'd play it.
And the old floppy.
Like literally in the 90s.
old
But
one, yeah.
you're like a pizza delivery guy, and you deliver pizza to a jail cell. And there's an evil guy in there, and somehow he uses the pizza you deliver to him to escape. And then all hell breaks loose.
Do you have to
used to
get the
scare the
guy?
hell out of me. I don't think I ever beat it because I was too scared. Still am. I have nightmares.
Yeah, he
Haunts
terrified
me to this day. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I see him in the corner every day. He's there in the room with me.
Sounds like a good game. I had Lego Racers on N64. That was fun. It's like Mario Kart.
Racers reminds me one of my favorite old games from as a kid. I had a PC game that was a Star Wars pod racing game.
Now that's
Super fun. It was just pod racing. It was like a NASCAR game. You had a circuit. You went to these different planets. You could upgrade your pod.
And just pod race.
It was really fun.
I
Yeah,
think I rented that one.
yeah. It had nothing to do with the actual like Star Wars storyline. It was just
If
you
we
were
want
a
to keep
pod racer. It was
segueing,
sick.
speaking of racing, Formula One, Ryan Reynolds and one other actor, Michael B. Jordan, just went in, and they both are
And
now...
Rob McElhenney, which is hilarious that you didn't
is
mention
Rob
him because
as well?
that's their
I missed-
ongoing joke is that nobody really knows him compared to Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, did he also do this?
Yeah, they're like a partnership because like they're the
hilarious.
Wrexham guys. And
Yeah,
so,
they-
Michael
both
B.
of them
Jordan was in the group, but I didn't know if he was part of that group.
Yeah.
Anyways, they all purchased part of Alpine, the Formula One race team. So you might
That is
start seeing Ryan
hilarious.
Reynolds on.
is it
Drive to
Alpine or
Survive.
Alpine?
It's Alpine.
Just spelled the same.
It's spelled the same. It's a French.
Somebody's just an asshole that
It's a
decided to
French-
pronounce it
It's
that
a
way.
French company.
I hate it
Alpine.
already. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what that's what they call it in Drive to Survive is Alpine. So I feel like they'd say it right.
Do
Show's
they
all
say
about
that?
it.
I mean, is that the actual word, and we just say it wrong over here?
Alpine?
Like
I think they're
Adidas,
different.
for instance.
Well, I think it's because they name their company, so they can just be like, "Oh, well, we actually call it Alpine."
Well, yeah,
Whereas,
but if
like,
it's a
you-
French word, then
Oh, you're saying like the word Alpine in general? I have no idea. I'm not good at English anyway, so
What's
You're
the
not.
origin?
you're not.
Use it in a sentence.
Yeah, give me the full etymology of Alpine.
Hmm.
I'm listening to a YouTube video. I'm pronouncing Alpine.
This is good content.
It's good for all of us. Good for this family.
What did you
Yeah.
ask me?
Well, the entire etymology of Alpine. We don't
I
have to
guess-
go into it.
Yes, French.
Oh
Yeah.
no. So they still say Alpine, but they don't want to be mistaken for the company that's also out. There's an Alpine company. Apparently, it's like a.
Oh yes,
Weird.
everybody knows that one.
Weird.
They want to be mistaken.
I don't
for,
know.
Like,
I just know the
mountains.
French pronounce it Alpine. That's all I know.
I really at first thought you were going to be like, because I didn't know this other Alpine company, still don't. I thought you were going to be like, oh, they pronounce it Alpine, so as to not be confused with the mountain range that goes through
The Alps.
Switzerland.
That makes sense, and maybe that's why.
Oh, I'm sure it's why, but I doubt their company has anything to do with it.
Spelled ALLPEEN.
Yeah,
and that's why
Alpine.
it's
Alpine.
it's Pride Month, baby.
All peen,
We're
baby.
accepting of all peens.
We
until
are accepting
July,
of all
for just
peens.
a few more days, and that's it.
You're right. It's the specific month.
Yeah, it's a cutoff.
It's a cutoff.
Speaking of Pride Month, we traded for Rudy Gay, right?
We did.
We did.
We
No,
did
we
trade
did.
for Rudy Gay.
Well, yeah.
All right. Now
All right.
that's a fucking segue right there, baby.
That is a really
It
good
is, baby.
segue. That was
Hell
the
yeah.
best.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
go into
So let's get
go
into
the
it.
Hawks.
So let me be clear.
Hawks.
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 Let me be clear. We did not trade for Rudy Gay. He's just part of the package that made it work.
We did.
We did, but like some
Trade
people,
for Rudy Gay.
there was a legitimate Utah Jazz fan who said the Hawks are idiots. Who would want to start Rudy Gay over John Collins? And I was like, that's not what we're doing.
Well, both can be true. They
But
may
they
be idiots.
yeah. Well, we are idiots.
But that's not.
That's the guy that's playing like 2K and does not pay attention to the cap at all, and he just turns it off at the beginning of franchise mode.
Yeah,
He's just
he
has
off.
no concept of like the financial ramifications of trading players that don't line up equally.
So let's backtrack a little bit, guys. Let's backtrack to let's say the draft last year, 2022. There was a reported trade by Shams, Woj, all the big guys reported this, that we could have traded John Collins to the Sacramento Kings for a top 5 protected pick. So that's a first round pick, basically, and Harrison Barnes. So we would have got both Harrison Barnes, top 5 protected pick, which means we'd get the pick because they would have been a playoff team anyways.
Was that pick in this draft?
It would have been in this draft, yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and we would have got it. And
Also,
we would have kept Kevin Herter. We would have kept Herter, and
Yeah.
we would have actually moved Bogey the year before for Derek White, but we didn't do that. Instead, Boston got Derek White. So
you're telling me we could have had Derek White and Kevin Herter?
Yes, but so here's what it says. So if you're keeping score at home,
Seems
the
like
Hawks
a fuck
didn't
up.
trade for Derek White because
significantly.
someone said they
Oopsie.
needed Bogey's shooting. Herter was still in the team at the point, making chump money for proven talent. Also, we didn't trade Collins at max value because someone said no. Both times, that's Tony Resler. That's our owner who said no both times. So now fast forward to 2023, and you're like, oh, actually, it's not going to work out. Like John Collins is not a good fit for our offense, what we're building for our team. And it's been obvious for the last 3 years that he's not been a good fit. Ever since we got Clint Capella, John Collins' spot on the team has been kind of weird. And so then what did we trade him for? We traded him for a second round pick and cap relief.
So this is clear now. 2 years in a row, we're doing trades so that we don't hit the luxury tax. Is that right?
Yes, but the difference I'll say between last year's trade and this year's trade is that this actually opened up a $25 million trade exemption, which means that I think the Hawks are going to do something else this year. Like,
What does that mean?
So that means that we can take on $25 million in contracts without having to send out any money. So we could trade for a player with a much bigger contract and only send like maybe $10 million in return and get like a $35 million contract. So it's actually a big deal. Like it's actually a really good tool and a good resource, but you could have gotten that same trade exemption with like 2 first round picks a year ago, probably. You know what I mean? Like you could have got a much better deal if we would have traded John Collins before we nuked his tank value. So what I want Hawk fans to understand this, that in a vacuum, and actually just in general, this is a bad trade for the Hawks. It's a very bad trade for the Hawks. But if you're looking at the big picture and the grand scheme of things, like it's a necessary trade that Hawks are going to trade. We have more financial flexibility to, one, re-sign our own talent, which you'd rather keep Onyeka Okongwu, you'd rather keep Jalen Johnson, and you'd rather keep DJM over John Collins. And 2, it gives us more short-term financial flexibility, whether that's to duck the cap or to get another star besides Drake.
I think one thing that it still gives me pause, because 100% you're right. I'm certain that they're not done.
I sure hope not.
But that's the whole thing right there, is that this type of move, at least for a team that would fancy themselves a contender, this type of move is one that happens like the day before the real move.
Right.
Well, it's been a couple days now.
Yeah.
We had a draft go by. That's a great time to trade in the draft.
So there's from what like reports read from like Jake Fisher, and from Woj and Shams, that the Hawks had several trade conversations on draft night, including with the Pacers, including the Mavericks. But because of this new CBA, and then like we talked about, this new luxury tax curtain, a lot of teams were not wanting to make moves to take on more salaries right now, because there is such a punishment now to getting over that first tax curtain. So you also saw a lot of teams asking for like, oh yeah, we'll take Clint Capella, but we also want your 15th pick just for you to move up 5 picks. And it's like, well, that's not worth it.
Well,
like,
and
it's not.
you probably actually want to hold on to your rookie contracts now. It's more valuable.
Exactly. They're way
And
more valuable.
to actually have them contribute too, that'd be a huge advantage.
Yes. And I do want to point this out that the Hawks, I'm very proud. I'll say proud and impressed that we actually kept both our second round picks this year. We actually traded cash for a second round pick, which we typically sell our second round picks off. This is big because one, like you just said, Hayden, like rookie contracts, 2-way contracts are super important, especially with the new, if you can, especially if you land a player, like you hit on one of these second round picks, because second round picks are always a toss up. You're either going for super high potential or you're going for a plug and play, like shooter rotating guy who can like put maybe 10 to 20 minutes a game at like 3 or 4 years in, but you're looking for minimum value.
The sad reality is the majority of those guys spend their career in the G League and fizzle out.
No, it's true. It's true. And we'll talk about them in just a second, especially Seth Lundy, who's the guy I think will actually become like a rotation.
He's the Penn State guard, is that
He's
right?
the Penn State guard, yeah. 6'5", 6'6" guard who shoots at an elite percentage, which is like that's what you want on this kind of team. Also,
very streaky defender. From what I saw.
Yeah, but his numbers
Penn State
overall
was also not that great of a basketball team.
Yeah, he's playing for a bad team. And he played 4 years there. So like you know what he is at this point. He's going to be a shooter. I mean, you hope he can develop more for sure, but like it's not one of these one and done guys who you like, oh, the potential is through the roof because they haven't.
Quick question. So does that money that got freed up, does it have to be via trade that we use it, or can it be like we pick up a valuable free agent
for a specific?
So that I'm not sure. They call it a trade exemption. So I think we got it, but I think we got it from trading a player. So I may be able to use for a contract too. And so a couple of other things to
Is Draymond
mention.
still out there?
He is. He's wanting to interview with teams, and I think he would be an awesome fit because he could play the 3 or the 4 for us. Kind of. He'd be a weird.
I would love to have Draymond. I think he would fit so well with Trey.
The reason no trades, other things have been announced yet, is because technically the Hawks can't finalize this deal until July 6th, because the NBA is stupid and the calendar year doesn't start until July 6th. So what'll happen is tampering will open up Friday, like this Friday. You're gonna start hearing a bunch of rumors about so-and-so was traded or blah, blah, blah signed so-and-so, but none of the deals can become confirmed until July 6th. So that's why there's not been a like major follow-up just yet, but the Hawks are working. According to Woj and Shams, the Hawks have been still actively trying to shop. And we had a report come out from Wendy saying that the Hawks have been on a strict mandate not to go above the cap. But then you had 2 reports that countered that and argued against it. One was Woj saying that the Hawks can go above the cap if it's to make the team better. And Brad Rowland also said he had inside sources saying that he doesn't believe we will go above the cap this year. But last year he had like 100% confidence we wouldn't. And this year he doesn't have that 100% confidence because he has heard things from inside the team that we would go above the cap if the right situation opened. So I don't know. Maybe that's all like, oh yeah, we would do that, but we won't actually do that.
Exactly. It sounds like that. Given, it's my rule with politicians, right? You can listen to what they say, but then you go actually look at what they vote for. They don't match up most of the time. Tony Ressler came in when he bought the team and he said, look, I'm not going to be afraid to spend to get us a championship.
He said that a lot.
Yet here we are 2 years in a row where he is making trades because he doesn't want to spend.
Absolutely. And I think for the John Collins thing, regardless if we go above the cap or stay below the cap, he had to move because we have such a lock on the roster of people who need to play. Like we have so many young guys who need to start playing. And it's obvious that when you have DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, and Clint Capella as your front court, they all struggle a couple things. They can't play make. None of them can make plays for themselves. Like John Collins can take advantage of a mismatch, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And then none of them are great passers. Like no 3. So like, and really none of them are high percentage 3-point shooters either. Like John Collins was in the past, but since he messed up his finger, he has been bad.
Yeah.
So we had to clear out front court. And I think DeAndre Hunter might go too, honestly. And you could see Clint Capella go too. Now, if we sell all 3, at that point, I think we're bringing another player back. If we only sell 2 of them, I don't know if we make any more moves besides like some vet guys bringing in, because if you look at our team still, we have a 10-man rotation still. Like you could do nothing today and the Hawks probably still make the playoffs because we just have that talent. Now,
just barely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right where you want to be.
The
exactly.
coach,
So does that not put you back to where we did this rebuild after we spent an era of
just making the
being
playoffs.
that fourth, fifth, sixth,
Yeah.
seventh, eighth seed every year,
Yeah, I think Trey Young,
except for the one year we were the one seed,
right, which was crazy. I think Trey Young's peak and like his playing potential helps elevate our chances of being more than just a first round and bust kind of guy, especially when you add in like the Quinn Snyder effect. Like, I really do think you're going to see a big boost to our playing this year. And like, and like, we've talked about this several times. We're going to take a talent. We're going to go back a little bit in talent, but I think we might increase in the way like our actual performance and our results. And I still think that's true. And I mean, we've all in our efficiency, exactly. And we've been calling this too. We've been saying we're going to move one of these guys, get ready. Everyone buckle up. Like it's been pretty apparent for some time. So I don't know. I'm not optimistic that we make another move. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm pretty 50-50 that we do something else. But it makes more sense though to move like a DeAndre Hunter. I just don't know if we're gonna get a big player back. Like I don't know if we're star shopping.
Here's what's gonna happen: bringing in Draymond, right?
Calling it,
and then Hunter and Capella packaged for you guys. Tell me who.
Hunter and Capella packaged for.
Here's my opinion: if we bring in Draymond Green, he's going to cost like between 23 and 30 million. Like even if it's a 1 year, 2 year deal. So we may not bring anyone else back after that. It may just be
even if you trade off the other two pieces.
Yeah, but listen, like even if you did that, I think that team's so much better. Like if you have Trey, DJM, you're starting small forward as AJ Griffin or Sadiq Bey, whoever plays out, which I'm fine with. Then you have Draymond Green at the 4, who can flex 3, and then you have Okongwu with the 5. That's a good, solid starting 5. And then your depth still is really good because you have Bogey coming off the bench. You have our new Kobe
Buxton.
Yeah, what's his last name?
No, Buffton.
It's Bumpkin.
It's either Buffton or
Buffkin. It's Buffkin. You're right. Buffkin. Kobe Buffkin. We have Kobe.
That's our other podcast.
Yeah, Bumpkins. Kobe coming off the bench, and you'd also have Jalen Johnson coming off the bench. Like I like that. I really do. I don't know what's going to happen though. Like the rumor with Ayton, but like he wouldn't come to us. He'd go somewhere else. Which please don't come here. I don't want him.
Oh yeah, isn't that like KD is done playing with him no matter what? Did you guys see that? Was that real?
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole team doesn't like him. Apparently, Monty Williams, the coach, didn't like coaching him.
Weird.
Like
I don't know if it was a joke or not, but I thought I saw something that Ayton like made a joke to KD saying like, "Oh, let me see Steph's Finals MVP trophies."
Oh boy,
that's right. I did see that.
That like ruined their relationship, I guess.
Yeah, but like KD,
all these guys are so fucking sensitive. It's crazy.
KD got a Finals MVP though, didn't he?
That's what the joke is. That
the joke.
They think it should have been Steph, like because it's Steph's team or whatever.
Right.
Dude,
I like that. That's some shit I would say.
I think it's funny.
But what have you done, Ayton? What have you done though? What has Ayton done? Shut up.
Some people consider that team building. Yeah, you're just kind of. It's about chemistry, and KD doesn't get it. He didn't get the joke.
He's a big softy, is what he is.
But I'll be honest. Like, I don't
really ask yourself this, Blake, and this might sound outrageous at first.
Yeah,
but you say, what has DeAndre Ayton done? Really, in the grand scheme of things, what has KD done?
He's won MVP.
Yeah, well, that's what we were just talking about. Yeah,
he won a Finals.
So is James Harden, right?
Yeah,
James Harden though is probably a Hall of Fame player.
I hate to hear that,
but he is.
Ugh,
like number wise, everything he's done, he's a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah,
like I know we crap on him. Same with I know you don't like this either, but Russell Westbrook, probably a Hall of Famer. He's got an MVP.
Who should be in the Hall of Fame? Matt Ryan or Russell Westbrook?
Matt Ryan, way over Russell.
Oh,
but you say that.
I want to hear Blake's answer.
I think Russell Westbrook has a better argument to be a Hall of Famer than Matt Ryan.
Oh,
I actually do.
I know that life isn't black and white, regardless of how often I would try and make it that way. But there is one thing that I think should be black and white.
Yeah.
If you ever, as a professional athlete, do something as bad as Russell Westbrook's West Brick, the thing that the West Brick came from, where he was in LA and he's coming off a baseline screen, he catches the ball, turns and shoots uncontested. And he hits the top of the backboard.
He's not a good catch and shooter.
Been there.
Yeah, and I don't think Hayden should be in the NBA Hall of Fame either.
Yeah, but
Oh,
but
fuck
listen,
you.
But listen to these other
Yeah,
accolades
wow,
though.
Aaron.
9-time All-Star, 3-time assist champion, 2008, 2009 All Rookie, 2016 MVP, 2-time scoring champion, 9-time All NBA. Like that's All Pro. I don't think Matt Ryan's been a 9-time All Pro, 2-time All-Star Game MVP. He's on the 7th NBA anniversary team, and I think he's also the Triple Crown King. Like he's averaged a whole season making triple. What's it called? I can't even think of what I'm saying. Triple
doubles.
Triple double. Yeah, my God. Triple crown. Triple double king.
Yeah, sure.
I think
But,
he has the accolades.
He may have the accolades. Yeah,
He's missing the ring though, same as Matt Ryan.
Missing the ring doesn't
it's
pass
different.
the eye test.
And it's different. Like
for
I
me.
get it. Like 9-time All NBA is probably equivalent to like a 5-time All NFL, like all Pro in the NFL. Like it's a different accolade.
Yeah. Well,
That's
the
hard to do.
longevity of like being in the sport in the NBA is much longer than like
It
a
is.
life of NFL play.
It is.
Let's see how many all pros Matt Ryan has. Does he have any?
I hope so.
Yes, feed me.
Feed me.
How many all pros?
I love I've turned this into a conversation just to sow discourse between you two on the Matt Ryan
Yeah.
Hall of Fame issue.
I don't even know if
that
he
was
has any.
months ago we discussed that. So
Well, just look at his.
oh no,
here,
Matt Ryan has not been an All Pro. That's pretty crazy, guys.
So how many quarterbacks get selected? For
Even
All-Pro
his
each year?
I don't even know.
MVP year, he has to be.
Yeah, probably. Let me see. I'm looking at it right now.
You
Okay.
would think.
He's been a Pro Bowler 4 times, and he's been All Pro only once, just the MVP
That
season.
year?
Yeah.
See,
yeah,
okay, Matt.
Seems
all
a little
so here's-
fluky. Seems a little fluky to me.
Here's another thing. Okay.
Julio Jones only has 2 All Pros, and Julio Jones is like one of the best receivers of his time. So like,
Yeah,
it's
so-
different. 9 All NBAs is different than All Pro.
Also, let's see, how many All-Pro teams do they do? Is it just the one?
That's a good question.
That's true.
Yeah.
NBA. Well, so for point guard, there's what 3 point guards?
Yeah, there's 3. They do 3 teams, I think.
3
in the
teams. They
NBA.
do.
But yeah, I mean, but granted, there's more positions in football. So I mean, but yeah, I mean,
All right,
it is.
here's-
They're very hard to compare those two.
They are
sports.
hard because here's the thing: Jerry Rice has the most All Pro appearances with 10. So like it.
Yeah. So you're
it's
saying
a huge deal.
Russell's one less than Jerry Rice?
Right. So that's a totally different. It's
right.
different. for
Completely
sure.
different.
Let's pick a player that Aaron Donald has 7.
That makes
Damn.
sense.
I feel like
But
you
he's
have to
also
like.
he's maybe the best defensive lineman ever.
Of our generation. Like
I think you have to
yeah.
multiply NFL by like 1.5 or something.
1.5
like that to
sounds
get
about
something like
right.
that.
maybe
Yeah.
1.75 to
Yeah.
get something that's like comparable.
So Matt's got like 1.5.
Peyton Manning has 7.
All-Pros.
But I'll say this too: 9 All Pros in the NBA or 9 All NBAs is a lot too. Like that's nothing to scoff at
Yeah,
for
sure.
Russell Westbrook.
Sure.
Because Trey is what 5 years and he only has 2.
Yeah, but okay. Another thing we have to keep in mind here, and this is going to sound homerish, I suppose.
Yeah.
Atlanta Stars get snubbed routinely, and they always have.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that.
In basketball and football, I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
Only baseball.
Yeah,
do
definitely
not-
Baseball,
yeah,
we
not in
run.
baseball.
We run
You're right.
the All Star
You're right.
game for whatever
Which-
reason.
Well, it's because Turner.
We're at a good segue point. I don't know if we want to use it, but we're at a good segue
Well,
point.
I have a little bit more basketball. Just real quick. I do want to talk about our rookies. We drafted. So 15th overall, we drafted Kobe Buffkin, point guard in Michigan. So funny about Brad Rowland, shout out Locked on Hawks. He is actually a Michigan fan as well. So he's like, I'm gonna be non-biased as possible to talk about this because he likes this player, obviously. But he does just about everything really well. He's a good shooter, good defender. He can play on ball, he can play off ball. If you think about it, he's like a lot like DJM, but I would say a better shooter than DJM is, whereas DJ is probably a better defender, point of attack, kind of go to the rim.
Okay.
So very comparable play skills. And then round 2, we actually this is the pick we traded for. We got Mohamed Gay from Washington State. He's only been playing organized basketball.
We picked up 2 gays this
and
month?
this Gay is Gueye.
It's crazy. Oh,
You
dang.
can't say that anymore.
I think he's from
man.
Senegal.
yeah. It's Gueye. You said?
Yeah, Gueye.
Everton has a midfielder named Gay, spelled just like
Speaking of which, guys, Everton's the
Gonna Gay.
official EPL team of Blur Sports.
You damn right, baby.
Damn right.
Up the Toffees.
He played for Washington State. He's actually only played organized basketball for 4 years. This player has. He's a 6'11".
So he's the AJ Smith Shawver.
Those stories don't do anything for me anymore, though.
Well, so he was actually a soccer player. Well, the cool part about it
he never played this sport until they're not ever going to be they're never going to become like the best player in the league, I don't think, right?
Right, but the cool part is you got to think they're not at their cap yet, so there's potential for them to maybe bust through and be much better. Like that's kind of the thing. So what I would say about this pick is it's a very like let's see what happens. It's a second round pick. He may become like a proficient offensive player because that's what he's best at. He's a great shooter. He's got the length and the speed to play good defense, but he's a little small. He's undersized. So is Buffkin a little bit. He's put on some weight, but he averaged 7.4 points, 5.2 rebounds. He was lights out from three. He's definitely a work in progress player. And then our last pick, Seth Lundy, 6'6" point guard, 4-year vet, averaged 10.5 points, 4.6 rebounds.
Lundy.
And he's a prolific shooter. So really, and then we signed 2 undrafted free agents, both prolific shooters. So if there's anything we try to do this offseason is add shooting all over the team. So
that does show the imprint Quinn Snyder's having.
And
I want clear what he wants to do.
I don't want to ask you about this, guys. And this could have been a Schlenk issue. It could have been a Nate McMillan issue. It seems like to me under Landry, whether we like what's happened or not, he kind of had his hands tied a little bit with the situation he inherited. There seems to be a lot more vision. Like I feel like I see the vision at least of what the Hawks are trying to get. Whereas Schlenk was really like, let's get best player available. He always went for the highest upside player. Because for us, it would have been Cam Whitmore this last draft, but he had like some question marks on his injury history. So instead we went with Kobe, who is probably considered the most safe pick right there. And a lot of people had him as a lottery pick. Like we got a guy who was another lottery pick. It just seemed like to me, Schlenk was less about fit and more about let's get the best value possible. And even with like our signings and our trades too. I don't know.
I would disagree because I think I'm not saying he wasn't best player available there towards the end. He was, but that's because he was at that point where you start to pick best player
available.
If you go and look back where he started, he got the pieces just like they did in Golden State. He got John Collins first. That's supposed to be the Draymond. He gets Trey and Kevin Huerter. There's your Splash Brothers alternative. I mean, he followed, I thought, pretty clearly the Golden State blueprint.
The odd part is like when you brought Clint Capella in, it was a great. I mean, he got him for a steal, and it was great that we got him. Deal. But the weird part then was the overlap between Clint and John Collins was so apparent. Like they do a lot of the same things, minus John's shooting until he got hurt. But it makes you just wonder what could have happened if we actually moved him. Like I think Schlenk would still been here. Like if they allowed him to trade John Collins when we got the offer originally, and we could have got much more back. Like I don't know.
I don't know
what could have happened.
I don't know if this is how you view it, but I view Schlenk not being here as him being like, okay, fine. If the owner and his son want to run the team,
enough of the circus show. Like I'm out. Yeah, I can see that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
No,
I think that's 100%.
I feel that, and I agree with what you're saying. And I want to say this too. Like I still feel this way. Like Hunter's probably the biggest question mark of all his picks now. Thinking about it, because you went for 4th overall. Like Hunter's not what you wanted. But if you like really are analyzing all of his picks and all this stuff, like every player he got was good. Like for the most part, was really good. And it just always.
And I don't think the DeAndre Hunter thing is Schlenk's fault. Like sure, you might.
It was a bad draft class too.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is, you and I have both seen it. He shows you on every other night or every 3 nights. DeAndre Hunter shows you like why you drafted him 4th.
Oh, absolutely.
And then he has a couple games where you're like, he put up 6 points and got 2 rebounds.
That's the one thing. Like if we do decide to keep him, like after all the smoke phase, like if he's in the dust settles, like he's still here. I hope to God he like developed this offseason and like really put the time in to just work on this. Cause like he's so close. Like I think he's so close to being not an all-star, but like right around that level every year. And it's just, it's frustrating, especially as a big, like I love Hunter. He's been my favorite player on the Hawks. And he's hard to root for too, because he makes you so angry sometimes, but
for sure.
Anyways, as a Hawks fan, here's what you should feel: upset about the trade, but also you need to understand like it had to happen. Like this had to happen. This is the best value we could get. It's actually a miracle And it's like, I'm very thankful we didn't have to give up picks to move John Collins, because a lot of people thought we were going to have to. And so the fact that we were able to get him off our books without having to give up picks, that's a win for us. If you're trying to look for any smidgen of
That
win,
is a silver lining.
that's a silver lining. Exactly.
To me,
that's,
the way I'm looking at it is, why didn't we do
the
this
silver
a
lining.
year ago?
Yeah. Why didn't we do it 2 years ago? Why did we re-sign him for as much as we did? That's like the one thing where Schlenk did lose, and maybe that was ownership pushing him there too. Like, I think he could have held out longer and got John Collins for cheaper, but we'll never know.
I mean, to me though, you got to think that John Collins extension is coming off of the Miracle Eastern Conference run.
Yes, and I think he's worth the money still. And
yeah,
and I think the Utah Jazz will be fun to watch. I hope John Collins nothing but success. He was like your like he's
player.
Not only a fun player, he's a good guy, like a good teammate, a good guy. And
might
speaking
say
of teammates,
John the Baptist was persecuted.
Oh
yes, and he like John, he too persecuted.
I don't know enough about the Bible to know if that's true or not.
You're close enough. And I will say this too, DJM. He was the first person to reach out to all 3 rookies and like say, "Welcome to Atlanta. You got some work to put in though.
Let's
Let's stop here. Let's get to work." Like, he's a leader, a natural born leader. And I know Trey's not that leader. And like, I'm okay with that if we have DJM though. If we keep DJM and he could be your leader that way and Trey's the leader on the court, I'm fine with that. Like, let them balance each other out. I really don't want to see DeJounte go now though.
No,
I'm so worried that if he goes, we're gone. We're out of leaders. We're no leaders.
This might be crazy. I'd rather see Trey leave before DJM at this point.
Oh,
I'm gonna honestly piggyback off that and say this: you have to keep DJM as your contingency plan, because Trey, if you don't make the big dance soon, Trey's out. And then you can get all those pieces, and DJM can be your point guard in the future.
Sure.
So I think DJM can be the second or third best player in a championship team still.
Oh,
like, he could do that. So I'm with you there in the sense that DJM, I think at this point, if you're having to pick one or the other, and it's like,
I'm picking him. I'm telling you.
Unless you're getting like Siakam, maybe. Like, it depends on what we got back.
I love Pascal.
Because Trey Young and Pascal would be great together. Like, they would complement each other so well. So I'll say this too, Hawks fans. Get ready. This weekend is going to be crazy, potentially. My mood next week will be based on how we do this weekend. Really, like, there's a lot of ways this to go. If we keep shedding salary and we're just going to run it back with a young core, I mean, good luck keeping Trey here. Good luck convincing him to stay. That's all I'm going to say. You got to do something. I'm not even saying you have to get a star. Like, I'm saying you could go out and just get some good pieces. Like, go give me some shooters. Go give me some good defenders, some good role players. Like, give me something like Miami has, where you have Jimmy Buckets and Bam Adebayo, and you just have good players everywhere. I'm fine with that. Like, I'm fine with that. But you can't just move John Collins and be like, all right, that was it. We did it.
Right now, to be fair, they have Kyle Lowry. And Kyle Lowry is...
That's what I'm saying. Get some veteran pieces. Get some guys who know what they're doing a little bit.
Kyle Lowry's ass is like an additional player. It's
you're
like
right.
They're playing 6-on-5 every time.
You're not wrong. It's unfair, really. It's
the
really
boy's
unfair.
caked up.
That's why they call his ass Lana. He can join Sean Murphy.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, that's Hawks talk. We can what was your segue earlier? I'm sorry I ruined it.
Don't know. Doesn't matter.
God,
Braves.
Braves. Oh, Hayden.
Yeah.
How much does this piss you off? I keep seeing, don't get me wrong, this guy's a good player. Corbin Carroll. I'm sure you've seen this. He's a good player.
Have you heard of this? Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Why are there so many
people are talking about this?
And maybe it's people hate the Braves. Maybe that's why. Why do so many people think he's more deserving of the National League MVP than Ronald Acuna? I don't get it.
People watch their own team for the most part. That's what it is. And so,
but if you look at stats, like, Ronald Acuna beats him in almost every single category.
Ronald Acuna is on pace for like 35 plus home runs and 70 stolen bases or something like that.
It's never been done before,
which is insane. But yeah, like, nobody really watches the whole league. I think that's one thing MLB struggles with, like, post Sports Center era, because like you used to flip on Sports Center and you'd watch every
home
highlight
run after home run.
And you can do that now, but if I don't watch a game, I'd go to the MLB app, click on the game story, and watch it like a Snapchat, and then like I'm caught up, which is awesome. But yeah, I'm not watching every team do that. I've watched Corbin Carroll play like when we've played against him, and like he seems very good. Like, don't get me wrong, he seems very good, and he's super young.
He actually does something super, and he played super well against the Braves too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a and I don't want to
But
diminish him.
Did y'all see the thing he did the other day where he went on a single, a regular single? He went from first to home and scored. It's kind of
didn't see
crazy.
that.
That's like Ronald Acuna-esque.
That
Yeah.
is.
But I don't know.
I think
So,
the guy.
You don't have to have
also,
tenure to win an MVP in baseball, but you have to be known.
Here's
You know what I mean? Like
right.
it's like they're not gonna say it's a body of work thing. Like if some random player comes out of nowhere and like leads the league in home runs and RBIs, and like yeah, maybe
Right.
they'll win it. But I don't know.
Well, here's what kills me about the argument. Acuna leads all these categories: wins above replacement, WAR position players, offensive WAR, defensive WAR. He's not in the top 10, but neither is Corbin Carroll. Batting average, Acuna is second. On base percentage, Acuna is fifth, still above Corbin Carroll. Slugging percentage, he's first, above Corbin Carroll. On base plus slugging, he's first. On games played, he's second, only because Cincinnati's played more games than us. At bats, he is first. Plate appearances, first. Runs scored, first. Hits, first. Total bases, first. Doubles, he is tied for third, ahead of Corbin Carroll. Triples, Carroll's actually ahead of him in triples. Okay, you can have that.
He has an advantage because he plays at Chase Field.
Home runs,
in Arizona.
Acuna is ahead of him. Runs batted in, Acuna is also ahead of him. Bases on balls, he's ahead of him. So that's walks for you. I don't know. Strikeouts, I'm pretty sure he's below him. He just had a month of June where he's at a 10% strikeout percentage right now, Acuna, which is unreal. Stolen bases, guess what?
Oh yeah,
he's ahead of him by 12. Acuna beats him by 12, and the Carroll's second.
He's way better.
Now,
I just don't get the argument. Like, I understand but these are people who are like Dodgers fans saying that Carroll deserves it more.
Well, duh.
They hate the Braves. Is that why?
Yeah, and it's the same division, right? Isn't that the same?
Well, Carroll's in their division. Yeah,
that's what I mean. The Diamondbacks are leading that division right now, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes, actually, which is crazy. No, the crazy part is I think the Dodgers are third in that division. Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And the Padres are fourth.
Let's talk about this then. That leads me to the thing I really, really, really wanted to talk about. And that's payroll in the MLB.
Payroll.
So MLB payroll.
Payroll.
You saying payroll or parole? We talking about Ozuna or no?
Go there.
Hey, Ozuna for the Braves.
Yeah, Ozuna for the Braves to you. All right. Yeah. So the MLB payroll. Are you guys familiar with the best team in the National League? They're the Atlanta Braves.
The Atlanta Braves.
Yep.
Are we what, eighth?
Yeah, in payroll, yes, yeah.
Parole.
In parole, the Braves are eighth.
Probably first.
Probably, yeah.
Oh,
Lines
wow.
up.
Damn. But the best team in the American League and the team that also has the best record in all of the majors is none other than the Tampa Bay Rays, the old Moneyball Rays. We've touched on them. We've talked about them a little bit. They are. Would you guys like to guess?
I know what they are just because I looked recently.
Hayden, do you know what the where the Rays sit in the 30 teams?
18.
Get this, they're 28th.
They're 28th. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
they're
crazy.
28th. Now, another crazy thing down there with them is the Orioles, who are also good.
Excellent.
The Orioles are 29th.
In a somewhat different way, they were doing it all youth movement, kind of like they brought up all their top prospects at the same time, so everybody's under like rookie contracts.
That rookie contract, gotcha. Yeah. Well, all right. So then let's talk about the teams that you just mentioned that are third and fourth in the NL West, and I'd like to talk about the teams that are third and fourth in the NL East.
I like it.
So yeah,
one of them 16 games back.
That team. Oh yeah. Let's just go ahead and get into it. That team that's 16 games back and in fourth place in the NL East is the New York Mets, and they sit atop the major leagues and number one in payroll, with 200. And it's not close either.
No, it's not.
With $261.9 million in their 26-man payroll. Okay, in the 26-man roster. The next highest is the Padres. The fourth team in the NL West, I believe, right? Is that right? Because the Dodgers are.
That's correct.
Yeah. The fourth team in the NL West, the Padres. Oh, this is lining up well. The Padres are second at $207.5 million on their 26-man payroll.
God.
This actually lined up so much
And
better than I
both
planned for it to
teams
be.
may
Hold
not
on.
make playoffs, which
Yeah.
is
This actually, I didn't even know they were all right here together. So the third place team
for the
in the
Phillies.
NL East is the
Yeah.
Philadelphia Phillies. And they also find themselves at third in MLB payroll at 200. Wait, hold on a second. They're higher. Is it? That's odd. They have a higher payroll, but they're third on this list I'm looking
And
at.
maybe based on like before the season started or after the season's over, or I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
sure.
weird. They have it's a percentage here.
But the
Anyway,
Phillies have actually been good recently. Like
they've come alive.
they've won 15. I think they're 15-5 in the month of June. And we're like 18-4 or something like that.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
we've won like 18 of our last 21 or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah, the Phillies
nuts.
have been decent since.
Oh, it's okay. It's ranking it by total payroll.
Okay.
What the number I was looking at was just the 26 man.
Got you.
Yes. All right. So I don't know why I missed that. It's even less close. I want to go back to the 1 versus 2 disparity in total payroll. The Mets have almost $100 million. They have a $99 million lead over the Padres on.
I'm pretty sure I saw something that like the Mets pay Scherzer and Verlander more money than the Braves pay like Stride, like 7 of our best players, like just this season.
For sure.
Did y'all see? Oh, sorry.
Well, let's just wrap this up real quick. So so the Philadelphia Phillies are in third in the NL East, and they're third in payroll, and then fourth in payroll is the team that's third in the NL West, and that is the LA Dodgers.
Can't buy yourself rings apparently.
They'll be there at the end of the season. The Dodgers are the one that I'm sure of will be there. The others, maybe not so much. Probably the Phillies will come in, squeak in as a wild card team again.
Yeah, it depends on how much hell the Marlins give them, because the Marlins have been good too. Like they've been good as well.
You know what? And now we know why. Just the one more payroll thing that surprised me. We know why this is the case because of the 2 players on their team, but the Angels are actually 5th in payroll.
And they've actually been good for the first time in like Trout's entire history there.
They are 6 games over 500. So
hey, but we've seen them be streaky before, so
they played the Rockies last weekend, and they had the game where they put up 23 runs.
Oh, that's right.
By the 4th inning, they lost the series, I think.
Oh my goodness, did they really?
So
the Rockies suck.
They won that game, and then
so does that mean the Rockies won a series that they got outscored by like 10-ish maybe runs?
Yes, yeah.
That's
also just about the Braves is that we've been beating really quality teams these last 3, 4, 5
Several
weeks.
First place teams in a row.
While some of these teams have been playing like cakewalk teams. So like I'm really impressed with the Braves, and the fact that we're doing this too, despite our pitching being like, I think we're in the 20s right now in our ERA for the month of June, but our batting is like, I don't care. We're just going to win anyways.
Well, I mean, just go down the list over the past month-ish and see who we've played as far as, because I hate the narrative from Phillies and Mets fans, Phillies fans specifically, I guess, because of the playoff win versus us last year, they feel the need or they're
showing off their NLCS rings or whatever.
Yeah, well, but they like to talk about how and there's this guy on the SB Nation, I'll follow him. It's kind of a hate follow, to be honest with you. I do like his content. I think he's a good writer, but he's a huge Phillies fan, and I kind of just read his stuff to get mad. But but basically, he has these articles, and several Phillies fans will say the same thing. That they're like, oh yeah, the Braves they're good at beating bad teams. Oh, but they're good at beating bad teams. I heard that all last year. I'm hearing it this year, and just to go through and look, we beat within the past month. The first place Diamondbacks. We beat the first place. Oh God, I just lost it. The first place Rangers. We're playing the first place Twins right now.
We beat the Phillies.
We beat the Phillies.
We beat the Reds.
We beat
swept the Mets.
I
know we played the Nationals and the Tigers in that, but then we swept the Mets when they were still 500 team as well.
We plummeted them down ever since the throw it again. I think they were only like 8 games back going into that series.
They were at 500, and now they are 16 games back, and they are like 10 games under 500, something like that.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
now losing
8 games under 500,
of course.
But they didn't losing for long though.
No, it was only a couple weeks, right?
Like a week, maybe.
So.
No, he came back. He's already back. Yeah,
he's already back. Okay, yeah. So
it was like a week. Yeah. Did y'all see Daddy Stephen Cohen tweeted out, "I'll be doing a press conference tomorrow before the game. You'll get it from me straight." Daddy's gonna come out there and be like, "This is unacceptable, boys. This is unacceptable."
Is he gonna fire? Is he gonna fire Buck like after?
Dude,
I would love if he brought Buck up there with him. just bend him over and just.
Where are they playing right now? It might have a who was it? Lincoln Riley situation. Leave him on the tarmac. No, not Lincoln. Who am I thinking of?
Wait.
USC left somebody on the tarmac. Who
Clay
was
Helton? Was it Clay Helton or was it Lane Kiffin?
It was somebody who got in trouble with drinking on the job.
Oh, was it Steve Sarkisian?
Yeah,
Steve Sarkisian on the
I think
tarmac.
that was him. That was a pullback.
I think Lane Kiffin also got left on the tarmac as well.
Maybe.
Interestingly enough.
Anyways, I can see that happening to Buck.
It was Lane Kiffin at 3:14 a.m. on the tarmac at Los Angeles International Airport following the Arizona State loss.
Yeah. USC, man. Talk about a fallen power compared to when we were kids and when Blake wasn't born.
Absolutely.
Pete Carroll, man, he can do it.
He can. He built it at Seattle too.
One of the best coaches to ever live.
Well, you guys were talking about a little bit about playing like really good teams right now, namely Cincinnati here recently I think they were coming into the series with an 11-game win streak. They extended it to 12 in the first game, and then we took the next two.
Yeah.
And like, have y'all seen
what a series though?
Yeah, it was a really good series, and like that's a team that I'm like a little bit concerned about moving forward. Like they're very good. And they have some of like Ellie De La Cruz. That guy looks like he's like the new Acuna, basically like the new hot phenom. Yeah. Like he can fucking launch it. And
they kind of remind me of the Braves when Acuna first came up, and you had the old guard still there, and you had the young guy coming up, and like I agree. I don't think they're there this year.
It's weird. Isn't it weird being in this position though? Because it's like, oh, they're like the young Braves from 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And now we are like kind of becoming the Dodgers
we are
in
the
a
Dodgers.
way.
Dude, it's so weird.
We're the Dodgers.
Except we won a championship earlier.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But yeah, so like that makes me a little bit uncomfortable, I guess, and I hope that we have more longevity moving forward. But it feels weird to not be like the new hotness.
We're not.
We're like a veteran team with still really young players, but they've all been there and done that now. So
right,
exactly. I don't
know. Speaking of Dodgers, and we were talking about the All-Star game earlier. There's a Dodgers fan on Twitter complaining. So Will Smith and JD Martinez not being starters will prove that the All-Star voting needs to be changed. They each outclassed Sean Murphy and Bryce Harper in pretty much every statistical category. The MLB needs to reassess the current system to make fan voting count for less. And I said, maybe the Dodgers should recruit better fans that have more players in the All-Star team. I just think it's funny that Atlanta gets shit on all the time for having bad fans. But
and then the one sport where we can actually muster up a following to do something like that.
Well, the one sport that actually has
want to change it.
Winning culture. And it's been a culture that Bobby Cox instilled, and then hiring Snit from inside your organization for 38 years has been in the Braves organization. Like, we just foster a good culture, and it has nothing.
All right, I got a question for both of you, and I'll give my take as well. Call it now. Tell me how many Braves are going to be in the All-Star game.
Ooh.
I mean, one's locked, guaranteed.
Yeah, Acuna was the top vote getter. He's already in.
Yeah. Dude, I could say 5.
What do you think, Hayden?
That's being optimistic, though.
I'm telling you, I'm saying who should be all-stars, not necessarily who will be starters. I mean, Acuna, obviously, Matt Olson, because he leads the league in home runs and RBIs.
Yeah.
Sean Murphy, because he's an MVP candidate based on how he's played so far. Ozzie Albies should be an all-star. He won't start because he'll be behind Luis Arias, who is probably hitting over 400, which is an accomplishment, but he's another name that's been considered like an MVP candidate and should not be because
did y'all see the thing I said
after that, right?
Kyle Schwarber has the lowest batting average in the National League at 181, and Austin Hayes has the highest batting average in the American League at 319. But Kyle Schwarber has reached base 109 times, and Austin Hayes has only reached base 101 times. So it just shows you that batting average doesn't always tell you the whole story. But I will say for Alvarez, he's actually been incredible for the Marlins as well, though.
Yeah. All right. So where was I? Orlando Arcia is another one. He should start too. So I'm at 5 right there.
Do you think Strider should get in?
Absolutely.
I'd have to look at like the breakdown of the statistics. I haven't looked at the pictures, but although I do feel like the amount of position players get it in kind of hurts him a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But he should. I just think based on like, I guess
think
he's
the 5 Hayden said is I also think 5. And I think it's that exact 5 Hayden just said.
Those are should. There might be bonus players on top of that too, which is pretty cool. Like because everybody likes Austin Riley. He's not having the best year, but like he's average and he has the fan base. So
Matt Olson also like is there. Michael Harris is another one who I don't think should make it, but he's got the fan votes and might make it.
We need everybody to hear that again. Let's repeat one more time. Matt Olson is leading the league in home runs and RBIs.
And RBIs.
Yeah.
So everybody out there that's like, well, we shouldn't have traded for Matt Olson and, done away with Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
Again, that was Freddie Freeman's call. And secondly, Freddie Freeman has been good still. He's in his prime and he's doing very well.
Don't undersell him. He's been great. Freddie's been great.
He doesn't lead the league in home runs and RBIs.
Yeah, they're different players, but the All-Star voting right now is Freddie Freeman and Matt Olson.
Yeah. And I think
it's not something to slouch
Great
at.
point.
They're different players.
Also, another thing, and I know we covered this already a couple podcasts ago, but another thing that burns me up about that, people that say that, Matt Olson is a phenomenal fielder at first base as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we lost nothing there either.
No.
So, I mean,
let me say this too. Matt Olson, since they moved him in the lineup, has been a different player. Since they switched him and Albies, he's been a different player.
I think he's hit 8 home runs in his last 10 games.
It's been crazy.
Or 7 out of 9.
To your point too, Hayden, like the fact, I think a lot of people forget the fact that like if we would have got Freddie, we probably are not affording someone else somewhere else. Like it's all about because AA doesn't have the unlimited budget. It's not like we're the Mets where we can just write checks and just say whatever. Like we should be able to based on the money the Braves are raking in.
Yeah.
But it can't just do that. But I'll say this. I heard this recently, which was really cool. It's like Freddie, once he finishes his contract in LA, will be like 38. Bring him back to Atlanta. Let him DH for us and get to 3,000 hits.
I was just about to say, Anthony sent me. It was one of those like ball sack sports, if y'all are familiar with them. They're like, they're like not. I don't want to say the Onion because the Onion is like obviously
they're satirical,
but it's like fake. It's like they're trying to get people. It's like that's their thing. It's like they're trying to look real.
Yeah.
And but also for the laughs.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things. I don't know if it was them, but anyway, Anthony sent me something. It almost got me. I thought it was real for just a split second, but it was something like because they lost. The Dodgers lost the game where he got his 2000th hit.
Yeah. And
so he was saying, I think the fake quote was something like, "Yeah, maybe I'll be a Brave for 3,000 if they don't fuck around with big games or something like that." And then in the smallest, finest little print you could see, says, "Freddie Freeman did not say this after hitting his 2000th hit the other night." But still though, it almost got me.
Pretty good.
Speaking of some former Braves, everybody's speaking to Dansby Swanson bringing winning culture to the Chicago Cubs, who are sitting under 500.
They've actually been good recently, though, as well.
Did they make it back up to 500?
I think they might have gotten.
But you can't say. Yeah,
no, they're 2 games below 500.
Okay, making it back up to 2 games below 500 is not a winning culture.
No, but in the division they're in, they're only 3 games out of first. So
also, it's just making Alex Anthopoulos look so much better.
Oh my God.
The longer we get into the season with Orlando Arcia being like one of the best shortstops in the league.
Dansby mentally?
I mean, if I'm Dansby,
I hope
it is like subconsciously maybe, but then also at the end of the day, you're like, well, I'm making my money. I'm making my money.
But your pride, I bet his pride gets him though. Where
hurts
like,
a little bit.
Man,
He at least thinks about it. Like
that's gonna be everybody. Every shortststop in the league that got paid last year, he's outplaying all of them, and he's making $3 million a year, and they're making like I don't even know how much.
We are in a series against one of those guys, Carlos Correa, right now. And I think Carlos did well last night, but at least I think I remember them saying his name a few times. But yeah, it's also this, Hayden, to AA's just making him look even more like a genius.
Wizardry
is the Sean Murphy thing. And like you said, he's playing MVP caliber baseball right now. And when the trade happened, I remember, everyone trusts AA, so there wasn't like criticism, or at least from anyone that's worth listening to, there was no criticism.
Sure.
But there was at least question marks of like,
is this all we're going to do?
we
Like,
have
that's
an
it?
all-star catcher
Yeah.
already.
Yeah. Which I said
yeah,
that
yeah.
jokingly, and like we have some posts on social media is like, why did we trade for an all-star catcher when we had 2
So
all-star
it's like
catchers
trust
already?
AA or whatever
Yeah.
our thing was.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
but
that's the thing. Yeah.
Until
But it
he
worked.
shows us that he does something just completely idiotic, we have to continue trusting
We
like
have
just
to.
all the random stuff that he does because he's almost always right.
There's two people that I have in that booklet written down of it doesn't matter what I think because I trust them implicitly with their decisions. And those two people are Alex Anthopoulos and Kirby Smart. And that's it.
Yeah.
You can stop right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had anybody in my sports watching life like that until they got here. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
so
I feel that.
If you get pissed off at the Braves, blame Snit. Don't come at AA because he's infallible.
Also, Braves fans, stop. I mean, Aaron, you're kind of guilty of this too.
What,
we're so good. Let's stop freaking out when we get one loss after we win 9 in a row.
I totally agree. I agree. And have you noticed I have stopped?
You have.
Over the past like month or more, I've stopped doing that.
Everybody, that's why you should join our Discord. You can see Aaron get tilted when the Braves lose 1 out of every 10 games. Which is hilarious.
It is. Yeah. But no, I have stopped that with the Braves, not with everybody else, but with the Braves specifically.
You have to. Yeah. I get it.
Because of what you said. There's no reason to do it right now. I actually, I trust them.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Would we want to transition to a team I don't trust?
Yeah. Yes, we should. And before we get to United, I actually had a question for you. We had 2 games this last week, both against New York. Again, thought that was weird again.
We always play them.
Is that how that always works? Okay.
I think the way they schedule it, it has to be based off of Yankees home games. And then they also have to do it, just with travel up there in New York.
Yeah.
So I think they always schedule Atlanta teams to play both the New York teams.
Helps no travel too, especially when you play in the same week.
Yeah, they fly commercials, so
Spirit actually specifically.
So yeah, we had 2 games this last week. We tie on Wednesday against New York City FC 2-2. That's without our international players. So without our DPs, we were missing like 5 starters, I'm pretty sure. And then I think we got half our starters, like half those guys returned.
More. We had Armada.
We missed Robinson though, right?
Yeah, Robinson was still. I mean, they're in the middle of the Gold Cup.
So no excuse.
We're not going to have Robinson for a good bit.
Absolutely. No excuse for the outcome of this game when you look at the players. And if you look at some of the stats, like we led possession, but we lose 4-0 on Saturday.
4-0
the Red Bulls.
In Red Bull Stadium. A place that's significantly, I mean, do you know how many goals we scored all time there in Red Bull Stadium?
1.
And that was last year.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's a place we historically don't play well. Against a team we historically don't play well against. However, I don't think we've ever gotten beat 4-0.
Is there an excuse? Like, what's the reason?
It's inexcusable.
Okay.
There is no reason.
Okay.
You go look and what happened. I don't know if you guys remember that game last year. It was at the beginning of our podcast. One of the first games I did, probably one of the first games
we talked about,
or pods that we talked about. Yeah. Games that we talked about on the pod. There we go. That was the sentence I wanted. So it was 1-0. Atlanta scores that very first goal over there. And then it was Joseph Martinez as well who scored it. And then at the very end of the game, they score a goal, like literally 80 minutes, and we tie 1-1. Or actually, did they score 2?
I can look it up for you.
They may have scored 2 and we lost, and that's just I'm blocking that trauma out. But regardless, the reason I'm bringing it up is the game played out exactly like it did last year, in the sense that you go look at the stats, you'll see Atlanta had, I think, 66% possession.
We lost that game 2-1.
2-1. So they did score twice in the last 80.
Yeah.
And so did Tolkien score? Or no? Or was it John Tolkien? I always like him. Just
Howard Shore.
Howard Shore.
No, it was Lewis Morgan and Sergi Nagama.
That was a deep cut, though. You said Tolkien score?
Yeah.
Oh,
Howard
Shore.
So Tolkien, who,
Lord of the
creator
Rings,
of Lord of the Rings,
yeah,
movies, the score of the film.
Not your best, Hayden.
Howard
What
Shore.
Your best?
No, I think it was just a little bit too far between.
No, I think it was good because that is the reason I like John Tolkien. That's where I was going with it.
Levi will get that one.
Yeah.
Shout out Levi. He's
Shout out
enjoying
Levi.
a pint tonight. He invited me out. Told him I had
Ill
two bucks.
point, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, just like last, just like
It's
last
Tuesday,
year.
isn't it?
It's Tuesday. We're having a point. All right, so the game last year, we control possession, we lose the game. This year, same exact thing happened. We control possession, except it wasn't a close 2-1 game where we lost at the end. We got dominated 4-0. And so that's my point. The reason I've said all of that was to say, Gonzalo Pineda, buddy, what are you doing? What are we doing? In New York last year, New York let you come onto them. They let you have possession, and they won. This year in New York, same thing. They let you come in and have your possession. They said, that's fine. I don't care. Have the ball. We'll still score 4 goals. And they did. And so my point is, I just don't get, or I don't know how much longer we can keep him here in Atlanta and be the winning culture that you think we still have, Blake.
Yeah. To be honest too, like if the New York game on Wednesday, we should have lost that game. Arguably, we scored in the 95th minute to tie. Yeah, we stole that from them. And I will say this: I'm proud of the tie in the sense that we were missing a lot of key players in that game. But you can't turn around and then lay an egg like you do the very next game.
Also, the guy that scored was the dude we signed off a hardship exemption.
You're right.
If y'all are familiar with that.
Is that during international play?
Yeah, if you have a certain amount of players not on your roster because of international play, you can sign an extra youth player to your senior squad. And so we got that guy. And what is it? He scores his first ever career goal to tie the game.
I'll be honest.
That was kind of cool.
Gonzalo Pineda has not done a good job for himself trying to keep a job. Because I think U16 just won the championship. Our U16 Academy team just won the championship. And
the Youth Academy is great.
For those who don't realize, like in soccer, and this is the same way it is across the pond as well, like you have academy teams at different ages. They're all filtering their way up the system. And the more you advance, like the more bigger chance you have to getting on the big team.
They're also not ran by the head coach.
Right.
Gonzalo Pineda has nothing to do
Only manages the top team. Everything else, it's kind of like minor league baseball. It's basically like that. But
even less control. I mean, Snicker, I'm sure has some through AA, who he wants to bring up and down. Yeah. But with the Youth Academy, no, it is upper management. Absolutely. And then the Youth Academy themselves have managers. There is a head of player development that is normally the head coach of like the U18 team. Yeah. And then he'll have a coach that's, so on and so forth.
I'd like to chime in here. I don't know much about soccer or United, and I don't know much about the Hawks, but the situation where the Hawks were dealing with Nate McMillan through most of the season, it feels like the same tone, that like similar situation that we're in right now.
I agree.
It is similar. It's interesting though, because I feel like, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Aaron. For Gonzalo Pineda, I feel like there's some higher moments because we've had some victories where I'm like, wow, that was a good win. Or like, wow, good comeback there. But is it because of him or because of the players? I don't know. And it could be the same as Nate.
The inconsistency, he doesn't get a pass from me, in my opinion, because now you guys remember though, when we started the season off so hot, I started to say, I said we're back incorrectly, and I also said that that I can't blame Gonzalo Pineda for anything, and I was right. Then I couldn't, but then it got to a point where
it's inexcusable.
Well, and I can't give him credit for those wins when you have the highest paid roster we're the fucking Mets. We're the Mets.
Yeah.
We are 100%.
At least we're in the playoff. At least we're in the playoff, but it's close. Yeah. No, 100%. I mean, we're 3 points. We're 3 points from being ninth, but we're also 3 points. I mean, we're starting to move back now, though. We're also 3 points from only being fifth. So we're really starting to taper off.
Look at this. How many points did you say we are off ninth?
Only 3. That's we could lose, they win.
Well, get this. So you talk about that just last Wednesday, that 95th minute goal that gains you 2 points, basically.
It does, yeah. Well,
it gains
you a point, but I know what you're saying.
It gains you 1 point, but it takes you from from 0 to 1 there. So
especially when these teams you're losing to and you're tying are 13th and 11th.
Yeah.
The Red Bulls are in 11th. We lost 4-0 to them, and they're in 11th. I'm just saying, Garth, he came over here not to do this. Like, he wants to win. They gave him, he has the money to go win. I don't
he
think
left the most winningest culture in the MLS, something that he's been a huge part of.
He's part of the reason.
This is another thing, a lateral move. He was the top dog in Seattle and came to be the top dog here. You don't do that for two things, or for anything other than two things: a lot of money,
sleeping giant,
and the promise to do the same thing here.
Yeah, it's like if, like, say
he got the lot of money part.
Yeah, say they never gave AA like reins to actually spend money. It'd be like AA be like, fuck the Braves, I'm going to the Mets, or I'm going to the Dodgers because I'm going to go spend. I want to actually be able to spend money. And like
he came to a team that can
Seattle
spend money.
Spend. Yeah. And so, they credit him to like developing their entire academy, like doing all this stuff that Seattle's been so successful about. And like, I mean, even without him there this year, Seattle is still third place in the West. Like, they've built a culture, a winning culture.
Yeah. I mean, you say without him, but it's not like, I mean,
it's still a year, so like he's still all the stuff.
President leaving, leaving in that short of time frame. I mean,
no, it'd be a couple of years.
What they do is so overarching, obviously,
right? But that's what I'm trying to say is the fact that they're still third place speaks volumes to what he did for that team, like and what he set him up. Yeah,
definitely. I think it's exactly that.
That's a good thing.
Also, keeping their head coach, what's his name? Peter Vermes, I think his name's Peter Vermes. He's one of the coaches in the MLS. There's only a few. Jim Curtin in Philadelphia is one, but there's a few coaches that have been around for like almost 20 years with the
question
same
for you. Yeah. Does the MLS need to figure out something to like change with this whole international break? Like, does this affect other leagues, or is it just the MLS that gets affected like this?
Oh no, it affects everybody. That's why it happens in the middle.
So it affects EPL.
This is not something they want. Yeah, but it's structured around Europe. That's why it hurts us more.
I think the
European teams they take breaks during the summer, right? So that's why all the international shit happens in the summer. Yeah. But since it's all the same thing, it's all the same sport with the same governing body.
Right.
If your league takes place in the summer, sorry, buddy, we're still having this tournament.
I know MLS does like a bit like American sports stuff and not to compete, but like they need to figure that out. I think it's bad for the sport personally. I
disagree. And here's
you disagree.
Why. Think of it this way. I think it's the only thing they can do because they're up against a rock and a hard place with the fact that you want your players playing in these big tournaments.
Right, absolutely.
Because you want exposure for your league. You want to say, hey, this team, like they have.
Wouldn't that still happen if we just moved
wait. That's the rock. Let me get to the hard place. Okay. The hard place is that if you move your season to a traditional European schedule, what are you coming up with?
You compete with NFL.
You're competing with the NFL, baby, and college football. And guess what? We're not ready to do that right now.
That's true. Okay? So you're saying maybe one day?
Not now, not ever.
Day.
Yeah.
Well, I think maybe one day, but especially
soccer is the most.
The more people realize that a great way to give your kid brain damage, let them play American football. So I think the more that becomes like maybe 20, 30 years down the road, if not further, there may be a chance where I'm not saying football will be surpassed by soccer here.
I know what you're saying.
I am saying that could be on a
yeah. I can see that. Cool. I just wanted your opinion on that. I did want to talk about winning culture, but we're like well over an hour in, so we can save that conversation. But be thinking about it, listeners. Maybe put it in the chat. In the comments, what creates a winning culture for a team?
Yeah.
And how does that differ? And we'll get into that.
Yeah, wins is a huge part of it. And who do you think we have here in the state of Georgia that has?
Yeah, and what team do you think has a winning culture? Yeah. And are there more than one? And are there any teams that are developing culture? Because like it's such a buzzword. You hear it all the time. Like Landry Field said it 20 times in this past like week in press conferences about like if it's the Hawks culture, if it's what we're building here, and it's like, well, what is Hawks culture? But being bounced in the first round.
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
That's what's been my entire life. So
I have weirdly come to find, and this is limited experience, of course, like all of us so far, but that the more you hear a company say our culture, our way, the more
it's typically bad.
Pretty much bullshit.
We're a family here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, anything else, guys, gentlemen?
You wish.
Happy Pride Month.
Yeah, as a closing, we'll mention at the end of the month, Happy Pride Month to all of our Pride celebrators. It's weird that we do this whole month thing.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate that we have to like live in a place
like grandstand. It's like almost like a grandstand.
We need to. Yeah. Say, well, to me, it's like
I think it's good. It's like a double.
You have to give companies time to virtue signal to everyone.
Yeah, that's it.
Can't get it all done in one day.
At Olive Garden, when you're here, you're gay.
Yeah, that's the best.
That's one of the shout out Levi. He showed me that one. But yeah. So
yeah.
Whether you like breadsticks or grated cheese on your salad,
yeah,
we stand by you.
we stand by you. Baby.
Also,
tell us when to stop.
Yeah.
You know?
tell us when to stop. Sir, I want you to keep going. Never stop.
Keep going past Jude, please.
Yeah. Well, guys, I hope y'all have a great week. I don't know if there's any. I'm trying to think of like any upcoming things worth. We've already talked about it. We have NBA.
I mentioned Jim Curtin, longtime head coach of the Philadelphia Union. Come watch Jim beat the Atlanta United with when Philly plays us on Saturday, and we get to see what a real organization.
We're coming up on a summer break, right?
Pretty close. I think that might be our last game before the big weird middle season tournament plus other things. Gold Cup.
Secretly, Aaron. Actually, one last thing for our listeners. Secretly, are you hoping that we lose so Pineda gets fired?
No, I'm still not there yet.
How many losses away are we? Like 5?
Well, no. Hold on. I'm not there
5 straight
with
losses.
Atlanta United as a team to where I can root for them to lose, I guess is what I
Well, I mean, you're only at 4 more games before the break. So if he can maybe just get us right at the
4?
9th,
Okay.
like if you get us to like 9, if we're in the playoff hunt.
I just can't actively root against him right now, as disappointed with him as I am.
I get that.
But also,
I can never root against the Hawks as bad as like
everybody.
So I get it.
Watch Fox Sports, watch the Gold Cup, watch the U.S. men's national team, a better soccer team than the Atlanta United. Yeah. Thank you, Hayden. At least I got a nod from Hayden on that one. He'll seed that.
Makes sense.
It does make sense.
out.
We're recycling our coaches.
Yeah, we are. BJ Callahan's still taking over, or he's going to ride us through the Gold Cup, and then Berhalter will.
If we win the Gold Cup,
BJ
does he not
Callahan.
deserve?
Yes.
Does he not deserve? Like, if we win the Gold Cup, does he not deserve the job?
I think he does, but they've already hired Greg Berhalter back.
Who runs our soccer team? It makes no sense.
We actually just got a new head of the federation, so it's a new guy. It used to be a guy named Sunil Gulati. But anyway, we almost lost, didn't lose, but almost lost to Trinidad and Tobago. Or no, Jamaica.
Jamaica. We tied 1-1.
Yeah. But Trinidad and Tobago are actually head of our group, which is hilarious. It's unfair though. They get 2 nations for 1 team. It's
twice the manpower.
Yeah, come on. We're only 1 nation.
It's like 30% of their population's on the team.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably.
And they're still better.
Our population may be bigger than like every team in this thing combined.
Well, a huge portion of CONCACAF is the Caribbean.
Wait, Germany's in CONCACAF?
No. You say Germany?
It's geographically based, I believe.
Oh, no, we just played Germany this year in October. Okay,
yeah. It's just a
I thought it was too. I was just confused. I was looking at the U.S. schedule, and it's just we played Germany in October. I was like, wait, what? It's not CONCACAF though.
The Gold Cup actually does normally invite a non-CONCACAF team to come play because I think there's an
open spot.
There's an open spot. Like to make a tournament, they need 1 more team. So like last year, Qatar came and played in the Gold Cup. Or not last year, 2 years ago.
Cool. For the World Cup.
Oh, I'm looking at it here. Qatar's back again. So I guess it's just a thing. I guess the Gold Cup is the CONCACAF region plus Qatar.
Qatar. Hell yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna play a Qatar and get out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow. The old Qatar.
The old Qatar. All right, everybody. Hope you have a good week. Thanks for listening to Blursed.
Later, taters.
Later, taters.
Before you go, if you enjoyed our episode, please subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and share with your friends. If you'd like to see these mugs, all of our video podcasts are now available on YouTube, where you can like, comment, and subscribe. For more content, follow at Blursed Sports on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. You can also follow us individually at Blursed Blake, at Blursed Hayden, and at @A_Kais. If you're interested in chatting with us directly, join our new Discord community by typing discord.io/BlursedSports into your browser. As always, a huge shout out to our music man, Oh No, for keeping the vibe right and laying down straight slappers every week. You can find his information in the show notes. Thanks again so much for listening, and see you next week.